What if the next political voice you trust isn't real? Not a real person. Not a real voter. Not even a real human. Just a face, a voice, a personality, built entirely by artificial intelligence. And the most unsettling part, you wouldn't know the difference. Right now, across the internet, something quiet but powerful is happening. AI is no longer just writing text or generating images. It's becoming people. Full personalities. Faces that blink, smile, and react. Voices that sound natural, emotional, even passionate. These are called deepfake personas, and they are already starting to enter one of the most important systems in the world: democracy. For years we've been told that elections are protected, secure systems, verified identities, checks and balances. But all of that depends on one simple assumption: that the people participating are real. That assumption is starting to break. Let's start with something simple. Social media. Every election today is heavily influenced online. People share opinions, argue, debate, and react. And platforms use algorithms to decide what gets seen. The more engagement something has, the more it spreads. Likes, comments, shares. That's how ideas grow. But what happens when those interactions aren't coming from real people? Imagine thousands, even millions here, of accounts, each one with a profile picture, a believable name, a history of posts. They comment, they argue, they agree, they look completely real. But behind them, there is no human, just AI. These artificial personas can be created at scale. Not dozens, not hundreds, but thousands in minutes. Each one slightly different. Different faces, different voices, different opinions. And they don't sleep. They don't get tired. They don't lose focus. They can operate 24 hours a day, pushing the same message over and over again. Now think about how people form opinions online. You see a post, you scroll through comments, and you start to notice something. Everyone seems to agree with this. That feeling matters. It shapes how we think. It's called social proof. If enough people believe something, it starts to feel true. But what if that everyone isn't real? What if the agreement is manufactured? This is where deepfake democracy begins. Not with fake votes, not with hacked machines, but with influence. Because before people vote, they decide. And before they decide, they are influenced. AI personas can push narratives. They can support candidates, attack opponents, spread rumors, amplify fear, and they can do it in a way that feels human. A video of a person speaking passionately about a political issue, a comment that sounds thoughtful and informed, a conversation between multiple accounts that feels real. But it's all coordinated, all generated, all artificial. This creates something extremely powerful: artificial consensus. It looks like public opinion. It feels like public opinion. But it's not. It's engineered. And once that artificial consensus forms, it becomes very hard to break. Real people start repeating it, sharing it, believing it. The line between real and fake begins to blur. Now here's where things get even more concerning. For a long time, systems tried to verify identity. Biometrics, face recognition, voice matching, behavior patterns. The idea was simple. If you can prove you're a real human, you can be trusted. But AI is now learning how to mimic all of that. It can generate faces that don't exist, faces that pass facial recognition checks. It can clone voices, voices that sound identical to real people. It can even simulate behavior, typing patterns, response times, emotional tone. In other words, the systems designed to stop fake identities are now being bypassed by better fakes. This opens the door to something new, not just fake accounts, but fully believable digital citizens. And they can enter online spaces where real political discussion happens. Forums, comment sections, live streams. They can ask questions, give opinions, build trust over time. They can become influencers. And once they gain that trust, they can guide conversations, shift narratives, push ideas, all without anyone realizing they're not real. Now imagine this happening not in one country, but globally. Different languages, different cultures, different elections. AI doesn't need borders. A single system can generate personas for multiple countries at once, each tailored to local issues, local concerns, local emotions. It can blend in perfectly. And that means influence campaigns are no longer limited by human resources. They can scale infinitely. This changes the nature of elections completely, because democracy depends on informed voters, people who make decisions based on real information, real debate, real perspectives. But if the information environment is flooded with artificial voices, that balance is lost. The loudest voice is no longer the most popular. It's the most manufactured and the most coordinated. Now let's take this one step further. What happens when these AI personas start interacting with each other? You don't just get fake individuals. You get entire fake communities, groups that support each other, agree with each other, reinforce the same ideas. From the outside, it looks like a movement, a growing wave of public opinion. But underneath, it's all controlled. This creates pressure. Real people start to feel like they're in the minority, even if they're not. And when people feel isolated, they often stay quiet. So real voices get drowned out, not by louder people, but by more artificial ones. This is how digital discourse can be hijacked, not by force, but by volume. And it's very difficult to detect, because each individual account looks normal. There's no obvious sign, no clear signal, just a growing sense that something feels off. But by the time people notice, the narrative has already spread. And once an idea spreads far enough, it becomes part of reality, even if it started as something completely artificial. This is the invisible architecture of deception. You don't see it. You don't feel it directly, but it shapes everything around you. What you read, what you believe, what you think others believe, and ultimately, how you vote. Now, some might say this sounds like science fiction, but the technology already exists. AI-generated faces are already indistinguishable from real ones. Voice cloning can already replicate real people with shocking accuracy. Text generation can already mimic tone, personality, and emotion. Put all of that together, and you get something entirely new. Not just fake content, but fake people, participating in real systems. And the systems are not fully prepared for this, because they were built for a different kind of threat. They were built to stop hackers, fraud, external interference. But this is different. This doesn't break the system. It uses the system. It blends into it. It becomes part of it. And that makes it much harder to stop. So what can be done? That's the question governments, tech companies, and researchers are now trying to answer. Better detection tools, stronger identity verification, more transparency. But it's a race. Because as detection improves, so does the AI. Each side is constantly evolving, and right now the balance is uncertain. What's clear is this. The future of democracy will not just be decided by people. It will also be shaped by machines. Machines that can speak, persuade, influence. Machines that can act like us, and in some cases, better than us. So the next time you scroll through comments, the next time you watch a political video, the next time you see overwhelming agreement online, pause for a moment and ask yourself one simple question. How many of these voices are real? Because in the age of deepfake democracy, that question might be more important than ever. If you enjoyed this exploration into the hidden forces shaping our world, make sure you subscribe to the channel and join us for more great documentaries still to come.